And once again, it's time for a video. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Trump started the TikTok ban, or Trump doesn't get to act like he's saving TikTok because he started this mess. Yeah, me too, I've heard it. They're wrong, and it's just another example of how they're twisting the past and leaving out a lot of the story. But we're going to tell you the whole story. Yes, Trump was the first one to speak very publicly with concerns of privacy and data going to China, and even suggested a TikTok ban during his first term. Yes, that happened. But that's not everything that happened. The following information was found using a Google search, including websites such as Wikipedia and news outlets. He later signed an executive order for the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance, to divest from TikTok. Now, wait a minute. Okay, so he's giving them the option to avoid a ban here, right? So remember that. But the story doesn't end there either. Here's what they're not telling you as well. Democrats challenged to block the order and won. This led to ByteDance moving its U.S. user data to a server in Texas, working with Oracle. That was the end of it. Trump didn't fight any of this. He was happy with it. The end, right? What happened? What happened? Well, let's see here. The Biden administration in 2021 reversed the executive order that was not in effect because of the court order and was resolved when Oracle took over the data in Texas. So why did Biden do all that? Well, this was when Biden was signing all those executive orders, undoing Trump executive orders. So just to get that little jab in, just to be petty, perhaps. I mean, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Now you fast forward to 2024, the PAFACA. If I didn't have a script, I would never get that right. The PAFACA was proposed in Congress to ban TikTok. Introduced in the House by Republican Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin and Democrat Subranian Razak Krishnamurthy, Democrat from Illinois. There's no way I'm going to get that name right. Scripts don't always help, I guess. But that happened on March 5th, 2024. It passed the House March 13th, 2024, just 8 days later. Then April 23rd, 2024, it passed the Senate, and President Joe Biden signed it into law the next day. This is the TikTok ban. Huh. So, if it wasn't banned during the Trump administration, but banned during the Biden administration by a law that was passed by Congress, and Trump was not even in office at the time, why are we being told it's all Trump's fault? I mean, think about it. You have a disagreement with a business. The business makes it right, or you just quit shopping there, and that's the end of it. There's nothing else that follows that point that would be the business's fault or your fault. But then imagine if a second customer came in there and started problems, and either you or that business was to blame for it. Like, no, this is no. At the end of the day, it can be summed up by saying, yes, Trump started the talk and made an action that gave it an option to avoid a ban. Democrats blocked it. The data started being held in Texas by Oracle. Trump was happy with this. He didn't bring it up for the rest of his presidency. And then Biden reversed the executive order that was already not in effect. And then 3 years later, after the fact. Can you imagine that? 3 years after the fact. And somehow you're still going to blame. Going back to that customer in store bit. 3 years later, you're being blamed for something that somebody else did in the store. You've been gone, whatever. It's whatever. Democrat Representative Rowe of California and Republican Senator Ron Paul of Kentucky introduced a bill to repeal the ban of TikTok, and from what I can see, it is still in the House, although they tried to get it to pass with unanimous consent, and one person stood against it. And again, we're going to make a note that this came after a Supreme Court challenge upheld the ban. So hey, Congress banned it, Biden approved the bill, Supreme Court challenge, they upheld the law, and even after that, Congress went back and said, hey, let's try to undo this. So who's really responsible for it? Trump for starting it but not saying any more about it when Oracle took over the data, or the people who passed the law, the president that signed it into law? How come the left doesn't blame the Supreme Court for not blocking it? They only blame the person that started, not everything that finished it, not what even sealed the deal. No, all of that gets ignored. All of that's ignored to blame one man. And why? Simple. Trump won the popular vote. They need that number to go down. They need his popularity to go down. They need to hurt any agenda he's trying. They need to stop him at all cost. They don't care that TikTok is so popular here in the U.S. Let's go ahead and block it as long as it hurts Trump. Now, can this be considered Trump shooting himself in the foot from starting this mess? We can have that conversation. Okay? Nothing's, completely one-sided here most of the time, I hope. But at the end of the day, there was 3 years in between what Trump started and was finished at that point in time to what Congress and Joe Biden did, along with the Supreme Court upholding it. Now, make it make sense. But there's an agenda, and that's all that matters. Now, before we go into the next topic of the program, I hope you take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button, especially if you want more content like this. It will help the channel grow, reach more people. It forces the algorithm to get it out there. And that's what we're trying to do. I also will be talking about things in the news as well as different takes on religion at some point. It's not all going to be politics. But I promise you we will be getting to other topics very soon. Also, I would love to hear from you. I have links to X, Facebook, and my TikTok account. Post it in the description below, and it's going to be in the bio. Check it out. Now, if you're seeing nothing in the description below, that means this video was just uploaded, because I use an editor to upload the video and then I have to go into YouTube and add everything to it. But it is in the bio. When I do make another video, I do announce it on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. So if you're following me anywhere there, you'll be in the know. I do make other videos on TikTok, so follow me there. I also have an email address you can reach me at as well. It's in the description and bio too. Feel free to either comment, contact me, let me know what you think, let me know any ideas that you have for the show, let me know anything you want me to discuss. I usually give credit to anyone that makes these suggestions. Hey, so-and-so suggested we talk about this. So-and-so from, if you tell me where you're from, I throw that in there. But if you want to remain anonymous, let me know and I will respect your wishes. I look forward to hearing from you. Let's continue the show. So, do you have the opinion that President Trump is wrong for deporting gang members here illegally, using that old law titled Alien Enemies Act of 1798? Now, this is a similar question to what some reporters have asked Tom Homan to suggest that Trump is wrong for doing this because it's just an old law. However, did you know that murder has been a federal crime since 1790? Did you know that piracy, treason, counterfeiting, robbery, and a few others were covered in the same bill, and they're still law, all of it, to this day? So if Trump is wrong for using an old law that is still in the books, could it be said that all those laws are wrong too, if he enforces those? I mean, if not, make it make sense. Because we don't get to pick and choose what laws are good laws and which ones are bad laws simply by who's in office enforcing them or how old they are. In fact, laws that have lasted this long have an argument for their favor since lasting this long. After all, Congress can add and repeal laws at any time, and those people are voted in and voted out. But there's another issue with saying Trump is wrong because it's an old law. Ready? The Constitution is law too. You weaken any argument in favor of the Constitution saying a law is wrong simply because it's old. The bridge between the law and the Constitution is a very short bridge indeed. For this reason, you cannot be for the Constitution and against the law just because it's old. That current law banning TikTok, for example, is on hold for enforcement. Not because it's old, but because of how controversial the ban is. A few of those who voted in favor of walking back the ban even after the Supreme Court has already upheld it. We get to see how all this is going to play out, and this will be a part of history. America might not have a great history, but it does have a continuous reputation of changing for the better because of our votes. After all, those that did great things in office were there because of votes. Yeah, there's been a few bad people in office, and that's a whole nother discussion, right? But at some point, they're out, right? We get it right. So when you look at those little times where bad people's been in office who did some pretty bad things versus the length of the presidency, the length of Congress, think about it. What would have happened if Abraham Lincoln never took office? Think about that. Okay? That's just one example. Now, would someone eventually come along and have made it to office to do it? Probably. But the point is, it was votes that put him in the office so that he could do the changes that needed to be made. And before anyone says, oh, it was all political, it was this or that, the fourth, anything else, I strongly suggest you look up the bio of Abraham Lincoln, his wife, and the views they had. Just look it up. So go vote for whoever you think will represent your values. Vote for laws you want in your state when they come up. Vote based on information. Do your research. Be informed. When you vote based on hate or ignorance, you will get hate and ignorance making those laws and changes for you instead of the changes you were hoping to make. So there you have it. I know the two different topics kind of went together at the end, but I hope that made them stand out more to everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, share it to someone who might need to hear it or might want to hear it, to hear their side in a different way so they can better explain it maybe. I don't know. But I love you all. God bless.